Do you think that we need more people, being willing to talk about the conspiracy stuff, being willing to be demonized by society as libertarians for being these voices? Do you think that diplomacy has any point in the Libertarian Party at this point?
The short answer is no, because I think that we need, like, there is a sense of urgency now. Before COVID, dude, I felt like we were all kind of just like practicing.
Yeah.
Practicing, learning the philosophy, learning the way in an abstract way of what the ideal Ancapistan would look like, or, what my kind of preferences, I prefer, whatever. But now it's like we went from the I guess the simulation or like the trial run into the real thing. That's
Yeah.
what I kind of feel like. So
You
yeah,
mean
there's no.
now that we're quote unquote coming out of it, you think that we're gearing up for the next thing?
Oh yeah,
Is that what you're
there's
saying?
no coming out of that. This is the next 20 years. 9/11 went for 20 years, dude.
Yeah.
So this is at least 10. This is at least the 2021 to 2030 plan,
Yeah.
where we level out Main Street globally, where the corporate, technocratic, big tech, industrial complex merges and forms
Yeah.
one gelatinous cube that eats villages.
Yes.
But that's where we're at right now. That's what the Great Reset is. It's kind of conspiratorial, but not really when you just go to the website, like go to
Right.
the Davos website, go to the World Economic Forum, go order Klaus Schwab's book on Amazon and read that. And you just, if you're a libertarian already, it'll blow your mind. But yeah, that's what I'm interested in, man, because that's where we're heading. This is Alex Jones's shit. No wonder they took him off the air 2 years ago. So he couldn't
Right.
be on air right now going, "Told y'all, motherfuckers."
Right. It's like how many times we're living in 2021, and after the last year, the fact that the CIA is still getting away with this heist of the phrase conspiracy theory, like it's still a taboo thing. And if you even say, "Oh yeah, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist," people are like, "Oh, what do you mean by that? Ew,
Right.
I don't really want to associate with you just based on that phrase." It's like, they're doing great. They're doing so great. They can have websites dedicated to their conspiracies, and they'll still call you crazy if you say, go to the website.
Yep. It is etched in, dude. That's not going anywhere. And
Yep.
yeah, nobody wants to be branded that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do need more brave people who don't care about
Conspiratarians.
conspiratarians. Exactly. Go lay down, baby.
Did somebody else come up with that before me, or can I say it was
That's
my own
yours.
creation? Yes. I'm making the
Put
shirt,
that little.
and we'll have you and me, and that's it on the thing, because that's the only two people who are willing to say it.
Dude, we need more. Yes, and
Yeah.
you and me, I believe, are probably we work for ourselves, so that probably helps. People that have jobs where they are monitored now. Social credit is coming, so people really have to watch what they say. And
Right.
I don't. I work for myself right down the street. I have a seasonal business. I sell CBD products, and
Nice.
I do my own thing, man. And it opened me up to have some time for the podcast and do what I want. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so I don't have to worry about what anybody thinks
Yeah.
I'm saying is wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a part of me, like, I film for a living, and it's primarily weddings up until, like, the political stuff is now seeping into it more and more, which is great. But filming weddings, I kind of kept them separate. I'm like, I'm talking about this crazy shit over here. And these couples are going to take one look at it and be like, oh. But,
Right.
like, the video production's good. Your wedding is going to
Yeah.
look good. Who cares what I think? I don't bring
Yeah.
politics to your wedding and start talking to you about the Federal Reserve. I'm there to
Nope.
capture your story and make it look awesome. So it's like, it's kind of a perk of getting more successful. I'm just more lax on, I don't care. You guys can hear it if you want to. And if I lose a wedding, I lose a wedding. But
Right.
if you care, then maybe you should listen to the podcast and find out why I think the way I do, instead of
And
just
dude,
jumping to conclusions.
Right. And, you could do that. You could keep it separate and, try and hide your political stuff from these people. But at the end of the day, man, living truthfully
Yeah.
just feels better.
Yeah.
All the time. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like somebody smoking, hiding their cigarettes from their wife or their husband or something. It's like,
Right.
tell them you smoke. Tell them that you smoke and just live your life or whatever. So,
Right.
yeah, you got to be you, man. You'll have a better life that way.
Absolutely. Now, what are some of your, like, every conspiracy guy has got the top 3 or the top 2? Or do you have favorites? Do you have the ones that you spend the most time on digging into?
I think 9/11 was the one. I mean, that's the crux. That's the one I've done the most research on. I was actually listening to Top Lobster and Tommy from Year Zero talk today about 9/11 on their podcast, and
Say my name.
I love.
Say my name.
I love that. I love that. You know I'm in that group.
He said, what was it? Like Dave and, there's some other guys talking about this. Just say it, man.
Say my name. They
Say
have
it.
some really nice looking sets. Dave and a couple other guys. Say my name. Yeah,
Right,
you're
that's what it
absolutely
was.
in there, dude. But they were talking about where were we going with that?
Favorites.
Conspiracy theories, right? 9/11. So they both were like, yeah, man, you just get too much in the weeds with 9/11 and you'll never prove anything. And part of me is like, yeah, I hear that. But I don't think that we're ever going to get, I'm not saying you got to prove every single thing, but if you could do something, if you could lay out to the public like, yo, Building 7 came down with nothing hitting it. Like, that's a crazy smoking gun. Larry Silverstein getting the 2 checks for the 2 buildings. He purchased the lease for that, 3 months earlier. These are, again, there's just lots of things that lead up. And granted, you might not ever have absolute proof, but I think that without understanding the events of that day, you'll never understand what's going on right now.
Right.
So you might not be able to have the unraveling of the machine, of the, I don't know, Goliath, unless you really deal with that. Like, you have to do some undoing. You can't attack it from 2021 standards. Like, you kind of have to have an understanding of that. To me, I think so.
Yeah, and you. I've got my shit together, and we're done, guys. That seems like a good place to end it. No, my buttons were in the wrong place.
That was fun.
This is where I was supposed to go. What were we talking about? That
9/11.
I'm easily distracted even when
That
I'm paying
little cartoon
attention.
really threw you off, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you were saying I'm not going to be able to convince them that what it is. Like, and maybe that's not exactly what you were getting at, but these people who say things like, you shouldn't talk about that because you don't know what it is. You're never going to be able to convince them what it is. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is. I don't have to convince them of what it is. All I have to do is convince them that they were lied to the entire time. Like, that's all that matters. And it should be really easy for libertarians to accept that their government lied to them. For some reason, there seems to be a disconnect there. But
it's wild.
But no matter how much evidence you show them, if it is labeled and branded a conspiracy theory, then it's, you're crazy until you give me 100% evidence of what exactly happened. No, motherfucker. All you need to know is this doesn't add up and this doesn't add up. Ergo, you were lied to. Now figure it out from there. Dude,
it's like half or more libertarians don't know their enemy.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the bylaws or in the plank somewhere. It's like, we stand in opposition to the omnipotent state.
Cult of the omnipotent state.
Right. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm fucking
pretty
talking
bold.
about. Right. So do you know what the state is capable of? Like, I know we joke.
We stand in defiance of the bad parts, and we want to keep maybe a little bit of the cult of the imagine them trying to write it now.
Right. We'll settle for lower taxes, and please don't murder people.
Right.
I mean, but again, this kind of goes to the messaging thing, right? It's like, we had Joe going, the government's just too intrusive and too darn bossy.
Too big, too bossy, too mean, too nasty, too much of a bully. I don't like I don't like the cut of its jib.
I don't like the cut. And then you got Shane Hazel that's like, this is a fucking murder cult.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not saying, I'd rather go all the way full Shane Hazel.
Yeah.
But can we move that a little bit? Because it does a disservice, I think, to just say, yeah, it's kind of bossy. Like, that doesn't, that neutralizes what it's actually doing. And it's like, it's a murder cult. It's a death cult. It's a murder machine.
It's
all it
bossing
does is...
people into the ground. Okay? Like,
yes.
There's a word for that. It's called murder.
I'll make questionable decisions.